Hey everybody, welcome to that. There's nobody here named Josh, the podcast where truth named Josh. My name is Kevin, and I'm joined by Will
What it do?
and Aaron.
I'm back.
All right. Well, before we begin officially, remember we got to lay down the ground rules for everybody listening. There is nobody here named Josh.
That's right. Get out of here.
We have to make sure that there's nobody here named Josh. Will, are you named Josh?
Oh shit. No, my ID says no.
Okay. Aaron, are you named Josh?
I can guarantee you that I have neither now or ever been referred to as Josh.
Okay. Well, I'm not Josh. My underwear says so.
My middle name, like my Christian given name, is Joseph. I don't think that counts though.
That doesn't count. That's not Joseph. That's not Josh. That's Joe.
Okay, I was just wondering if we were eliminating all J type people as well.
Wait a minute. Your given name is Joseph?
Well, no, I forget how you say what it. Like, it's weird because when you go through confirmation, it's like, hey, you've got a first name, a middle name, and a last name. Let's give you one more.
Oh, okay.
You get to pick another name. So I was like, all right, cool. That's totally useless.
Okay, all right.
So
well,
apparently, like, in the church, I'm supposed to be referred to as... I don't know. I don't forget how it works.
Okay, well, it's been a while since I've been to church. If I go to
same,
church right now,
same here.
If I go to church right now, I'll probably like spontaneously combust or something.
Last time I've been to church for anything that wasn't like a choir thing, I was like 3.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! Yeah.
That was a long time ago. A long time ago. Well, as a former barbershopper, and a lot of people know what barbershop is. I used to sing in a barbershop quartet, so that tells you. So as a former barbershopper, I used to go to church all the time just to sing, not to participate. When everyone else would stand up and sing, I would be sitting down and blah, blah, blah. But that's we digress.
Actually, it's interesting. A fun fact about barbershop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you remember the movie The Jungle Book, the cartoon Disney film?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you remember the Vultures? That croon as a barbershop quartet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were originally supposed to sound like the Beatles. They were supposed to be a mock sort of Beatles-esque band. That's why they all got the weird haircuts. But
really?
Walt Disney made the call that the Beatles sound was just a fad, so he wanted to do something a little more timeless, and so decided to have a change to a barbershop style of singing.
Gee, I wonder how well that went over.
Yeah.
I still have just Beatles songs on loop in my head.
But you got to understand that the Beatles, 2 out of the 4 Beatles are dead. And they don't make music anymore. But then barbershop is still around.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're listening to the oldies on the radio when you're driving,
you don't listen to barbershop quartet. You listen to
go get your social distance your groceries. Then
you listen to the
you're not hearing crooning, but I'm just gonna say, not to diminish the art form at all.
No, it's okay. I spent 20 years as a barbershopper. I've heard it all, man. Heard it all. But
all right, what's today?
So today we're going to talk about our most favorite fictional characters. Okay, like now when I mean fictional, I mean like movies, TV, anime, books, anything. As long as it's fictional, it doesn't matter where they're from. Okay,
Brony.
Yeah, well,
Jesus Christ.
Hey man. Hey, it's a fictional thing. My Little Ponies are my fictional thing.
Stardash.
Did you just say my fictional thing for My Little Pony?
I did. It's my fictional thing. That could be
my fictional thing.
That's today's segment.
That's
episode.
That's the name of my my fan story.
Ooh.
Yeah, my fictional thing.
Ooh.
That's the name of today's episode. My fictional thing.
Delicious.
Yes. Okay, but before we get to that, we're always going to do the same, maybe not the same, but we're going to do a segment of the show that we started last week that I think that people liked this week. I actually had a couple people feedback on there about this, and it's a segment called "What Are Your Thoughts On?"
Oh, I've got thoughts.
Do you? You're a thoughtful guy?
I think on occasion.
You think on occasion? Okay, so this is Will's segment, so I'm going to let him take over.
Cool. Just gonna throw me right into this, huh?
I'm going to throw you right into this.
Yeah, like we've started nothing. It's just here you go.
Yeah.
Take
Here
it
you
away.
go. Here you go, Will.
All right,
Insert,
I'm gonna set the
insert stinger in the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set the bar really really low for the rest of the show.
Oh, perfect.
Great.
That's why we're doing this.
I don't think we can get it any lower, dude.
I know. It's me. I'm here. I know.
That's not why the bar is low, but
Oh my god.
we can go with that if you want.
All right. So this is a classic argument that I always hear
Okay.
from people of literally all ages. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Pepsi versus Coke.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay. All right. Who wants to go first? Aaron, do you want to go first or should I?
I have to collect my thoughts because, as a thinker, there
Okay.
are many thoughts I'm thinking.
Okay.
It's a
for
big
me-
one.
For me, it's not really that much of a big one for me because I don't drink pop anymore. You know, I used to. Drink pop a lot.
Kevin.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't drink
I
pop
saw
anymore.
your Facebook answers. What was
Did
your
you?
first computer? A piece of crap.
Yeah.
That's true. It really was. But Pepsi versus Coke, huh? But I can tell you when I did drink pop or soda, as some people in the United States like to call it, because I know we have some listeners in the States.
Sody Pap.
Sody Pap. I
We just lost every American viewer.
I'd have to pick Coke.
Really?
Yeah, I'd have to pick Coke over Pepsi. I found that Pepsi was too acidic to me. Like, to my palate, Pepsi was a little too acidic. Like, I would have Pepsi every now and then. Like, maybe there was like a different style of Pepsi or something along those lines. But it would be if I had to choose, I would choose Coke over Pepsi because of the different vanilla Coke, cherry Coke, black cherry Coke. You know, the different kinds of pop and Coke out there. So that's my decision. I would choose Coke over Pepsi.
Okay.
All right. Aaron, do you have your thoughts collected, or
I would be coming from this from two very distinct standpoints. One being a very nostalgic and emotional one, as well as a marketing and design. So initially, for me, like, my grandmother drank Pepsi like religiously, so I grew up with Pepsi. I've never been one to. Like, there are some people, if you go to a restaurant and they're just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, we only have Pepsi products," and then they'll have a shit fit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've been lucky enough to not seen that.
I've seen it. I've worked in the restaurant world, and it's literally like you need to go home and figure out your life because you have a problem.
Definitely.
At the end of the day, it is pop. But as far as preference, it doesn't really matter. Like, if I'm going to buy something, I'll probably just buy Pepsi because I'm used to Pepsi, and I think that is a big part of it. But when you look at them from a marketing standpoint, oh my god! Like, back in the '80s, like, that was one of the biggest all-out marketing wars that ever happened.
Oh man, I remember that.
And it was incredible, and Coke just shit the bed so many times.
Yeah.
Like, they changed the recipe at one point, and people
new
just
Coke?
lost their new Coke. And
I heard a little bit about that one. Yeah.
Pepsi just had them at every turn. Every turn. I mean, Pepsi almost killed Michael Jackson, but we're not going to hold that against them.
No.
Or maybe we should. I don't know.
Oh, wow. We knew then what we know now.
That's right. Maybe Pepsi was onto something.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, we don't get something wrong about this guy. Oh my god, yeah. Like, I remember studying that in school. I went back. It was recently a program. I was watching that. Kind of took a deep dive on it as well. Even, like, just looking at the overall branding. I love what Pepsi's doing. Like, the new Pepsi logo actually has, like, a bunch of stuff in it, like, hidden. Like, the curvature of the white bit in there has something to do with the rotational axis of the Earth or something. Like, he put so much time and effort into something that could have, first year could have done in 10 minutes. But the fact that he did that, I think, is really cool. And that speaks volumes for me. So when it comes down to that, if I'm going to be mixing alcoholic beverages to wash away the pain of my life, I'm going to be mixing with Pepsi. Sponsor.
Just one moment here. My landlord's actually calling me.
Oh. This is
all right.
Hello, Rick. What's up?
Thought he was gonna mute.
This is a new segment
Why,
of the
what's going on?
podcast. Landlord Talks.
Phone calls.
Welcome to Nobody Here Named Josh, where Kevin gets evicted.
Oh, could you imagine?
Okay, I will get my brother on that.
Oh my god.
Yes,
It's sounding
I know.
more and more likely.
He just starts crying.
I will get my brother on that. That's his dog. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Somebody's dog's been shitting on somebody's lawn.
Probably just barking too much.
You gotta get the spray bottle, bud.
Anytime the dog barks,
It's my brother's. I'll take care of that.
Little spritz of water.
Yeah.
I will. I will call him right now. All right. Bye.
His dog got
Oh
out.
man, that was a little interruption that I never expected to have. All right, so now we're gonna have another section of the podcast called "I Have to Call My Brother."
Unexpected phone calls.
Unexpected phone calls. That's part of the
Unexpected phone calls.
That's the
I
new thing.
actually was gonna say just call him after, but you know what? I'm really interested to know what's happening with his dogs.
we got to do it now.
Yeah, we got to do it now. We've taken a
Yeah,
turn.
I need to
Hey,
hear
John,
about
I
this.
just got a phone call from the landlord. You need to go home and quiet Darby.
Oh my god, your dog's name's Darby too?
Yeah, you got to go home and quiet Darby because she's been making noise since 6:00, and there was a complaint just now.
Oof, that's rough.
All right, I'm sorry, but I just got a phone call from Rick. Okay, bye.
Rick.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn.
There you go. That was another section of unexpected phone calls.
Go home and shut your dog up.
Go home and shut your dog up.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Okay,
Clip that,
so
please.
yeah.
Dude,
that-
I can say from experience I've been on the receiving end of that, and it is the most annoying shit in the world. Like, I love dogs. I was a dog in a past life, I swear to God. But when it's like 6:30 in the morning and you don't work till like 10 or 9, and all you hear is a dog whining like it's been shot for like hours on end, it is
Oh my
just
god, yeah.
awful. It is awful,
Yeah.
awful, and I hate it, and it's the worst.
Not even just dogs, any animal that is
Any
loud at an absurd hour in the morning.
Oh my god. Okay, so my downstairs neighbor had this dog, and she got it from a farm. Like, so it was used to like running and playing in the sun, and then like she would go to work super early in the morning and put the fucking thing in a cage.
Ooh.
And then like all I would hear is just torturous, horrible crying from this dog. I was just like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. So don't put your
Jesus.
Still there?
I think he
Everybody
died.
Oh, did Aaron die?
Yeah, he got so angry he died.
Oh, what happened?
somebody tried to call me. Oh, what is happening?
Everyone's getting calls.
Everyone's getting
phone
calls.
calls.
How are we so popular? Jesus.
Not me though. I don't have any friends.
No.
Oh, I'm your friend,
Oh.
Will.
Yeah, I'm your friend too.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just gonna call Will now. Just get meta on the show. Phone calls.
Oh
phone
man,
call.
like, that was another segment of unexpected phone calls.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The worst part is it's like I'm trying to do this on my phone, so all I hear is like ringing. I'm like, oh crap, what do I do? Help!
Uh-huh.
First
All
world
right,
problems.
so let's go back to what we were talking about: Pepsi versus Coke.
Yes,
right?
Pepsi versus Coke.
Pepsi versus Coke.
So you talked about the new logo for a sec there.
Yeah, because I remember they updated it. I think in the early 2000s, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to
that sounds
remember.
right.
Because they changed it marginally. Like let's be real. It's not like it was. I remember them rolling it out and in the grocery store thinking like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Here, I'll paste a photo of the old one and the new one in the Discord.
Yeah, because there is a difference. It's but like I said, it's marginal. But apparently, like I looked into the branding guidelines for Pepsi because that's
Oh,
the thing
yeah.
that I do. And yeah, see, like it is different. It's the original Pepsi logo is a little bit more symmetrical, and so this one has like all these like that curvature to it. But apparently, that curvature has something to do with like the Earth and something else. So like the guy put all this really amazing time and effort into it, but I don't think anybody fucking knows. So it's one of those like hidden things that kind of went unnoticed, and I feel like it kind of flopped in the general public because Like nobody really cares. It's pop. Like I'm putting vodka in it. Like leave me alone.
See, like when I see the Pepsi logo, and like I think back to when I was like a little kid, I had this foam ball, like this rubber foam ball, and it was
Oh
the
my
old
god, yeah.
Pepsi thing. I think it was the old Pepsi thing,
Well, it's
or it had the
literally
Pepsi colors. At
it had the
least.
Pepsi colors.
I remember those. I remember those balls too. Those red, white, and blue ones. Those
Yeah.
bouncy balls.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily have like the curve in the line, but like
No, yeah, it was
It
just
was-
like made of like hard vinyl.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
sting like a son of a bitch when you got
Oh,
hit
yeah.
with it.
Yeah, we
Oh
always
my
used to
God,
get,
yeah.
You used to get like welts and bruises and shit. So from a personal perspective and from a design perspective, you would choose
Mhm.
Pepsi.
Yeah, I mean, like again, just because it's like that's something. It reminds me of my grandmother. She'd always have like a Pepsi and a cigarette in her hand. That's probably why she died of cancer. But I
it's not the best combination.
Oh no, it's terrible. Like I thinking back as a kid, like when I was a kid, I didn't pay any attention to it. I was just like, wow, that's really gross. No, you have like a crate of Pepsi in the back of your trunk every like. Just that's what she did, and so we'd go out, and she'd always just crack a Pepsi, warm all the time because it's in her trunk.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know
Ooh.
that was a powerful mix. I think about it now, and I'm like, that is just one of the worst life decisions you can make.
That's a goddamn power move, though.
No, it is.
I'll
it
drink
was-
this fucking worse than
Yeah.
lukewarm Pepsi.
Yeah, it's like
Ugh.
when she used to get it in like the pallets. Remember, like you know how you can get beer sometimes, where it's just like a big cardboard pallet with the plastic wrap on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have one of those in the trunk of her Cadillac that had like the power trunk. So like we'd go to Bellevue Park, and me and my sister would go play, and she'd hit the button, and the trunk would just open up, and she'd be sitting there with a Pepsi and a cigarette.
Oh God. The only thing I remember about my grandmother is like her chain smoking, like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, they all smoked, man. It's
Oh
crazy.
man, they totally did. They all smoked.
No,
Okay, so
not my grandmother. She refused.
Will,
Good.
what
The
do
odd one
you
out.
what do you choose?
Well, oh man, it's now I'm like in between these two sides.
Well, like, do you notice a taste difference? Like, really? Like, I
Actually,
feel like it's
yeah.
so
I did.
marginal.
I did.
No,
like
it's very subtle, but like if you notice it, you notice it. It's one
Yeah.
of those things. So,
Maybe I've just got a shit palate.
well,
well,
you know.
what I notice, it's very minor.
I think
like-
I've just never had a Coke and a Pepsi at the same time to be able to be like, ooh.
Well,
yeah,
well,
you know that
you should totally do that then.
that might
You know
be
what?
it.
I'm gonna do
Like
that
wine
before
tasting.
before the next time that I join you guys. There's nobody here named Josh. So plug the title. Before I come on the next one, I'm going to do that. I'm gonna do a taste test, and I'll let you guys know what I find.
I was going to bring up another soda question, but I think that's what you should do with the other two sodas I was going to bring up.
What's
next
the other?
time.
What's the other two?
Yeah.
7-Up and Sprite.
Oh,
7 Up, hands down.
I don't remember what either of them taste like. 7-Up or Sprite. I really don't.
Again,
I don't remember.
I think a lot of it comes down to the family brand. We're always a 7 Up family, and I've got like a ton of old 7 Up bottles from like the 40s and stuff. It's really cool.
Oh, that's
But-
actually really cool. What the hell?
Yeah. We my grandfather, we found them in the basement. He had a couple that were laying around. Sometimes when my dad would go do construction and things on houses and build stuff, doing renovations or whatever. Like, yeah, this is something that the construction community does, and I'm fucking calling you guys out right now. They will hide shit in the walls.
What?
Or in the roof. Yeah, like if they're having a coffee or back in the 40s, I don't think they do it anymore because there's strict regulations against it, but like all you old dudes, like
Yeah.
they would finish a Pepsi, let's say.
Because old construction dudes are our demographic, right?
You never know, man. We could have one and we're going to get an angry letter. Yeah, so like they'll finish a thing and then they would just stick it in the rafters or in the wall and then like finish building the house so that there's like hidden gems of old crap in you probably have there's probably stuff in your walls right now. My dad was telling me a story of this old Italian guy he was working with sometimes, and they thought it was fucking hilarious to hide empty whiskey bottles in between the studs in the walls. And it's just
Really?
like it's hilarious. It's just like, yeah, grab put the bottle in the wall. It's like, oh, okay.
Just like that.
Yeah,
That's how they would sound.
So what I'm saying is everyone listening, take a sledgehammer and just start hacking away
Just
at your
demo
walls.
your walls. Just
Make
Demo
sure
your
it's a
walls.
load-bearing wall
Yeah,
first,
load-bearing
and then
walls.
like kill that one before any
Yeah.
other wall.
Get in
You
there
know?
with a flashlight, look around, because you never know what sort of hidden gems might be lurking in your walls. Because, yeah, my dad recently was just working on the awnings and was pulling the ladder, or I forget what they're called, but up the airway flow thingy. He's going to kill me.
Like the vent.
Yeah.
Does your dad listen to this?
Probably not. No, he's not. He's not in that kind of stuff. But, yeah,
No.
we found an old 7-Up bottle and an old Orange Crush bottle, and they're from, like, the 60s.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That is pretty cool.
And yeah, he was laughing. He started telling me about this thing. This is a thing that people do. I was like, that's really fucked up.
That is ridiculous.
But
All
also,
right.
so
Hilarious,
7-Up,
though.
because that's my favorite mixed drink is a gin and 7.
Well, I honestly have no idea. I forget what Sprite or 7-Up tastes like because it's been
Sugar and citrus.
several years.
Yeah, that's it.
It's been several years since I've had a pop of any kind, except if you count, and I don't count this, but across the river in Sioux, Michigan, it's the only place I've been able to find it, are these little water flavor packets that was like A&W root beer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. You were telling me about this.
Yeah, A&W root beer and Crush, like Crush Orange and Crush, lime and stuff.
That's like Kool-Aid, but
yeah, it's like Kool-Aid, but it's the flavor of A&W. But that's the only kind that I've ever I've had in a while. So I honestly don't remember.
See, I think a good indicator of a pop is its watered down factor. And that you're usually getting pop and stuff like that is if you're getting fast food. And so when you get fast food and you order a pop, there's always going to be a shit ton of ice. And in my experience, I've always found that like Sprite really loses its taste as soon as you start to get some ice.
Well, if you're going to a fast food place and you put your cup under the freaking tap and you press the button, you're gonna see, like, if you actually watch it, if you get like Coke or Pepsi, it goes from like brown to like clear to brown to clear. Like it just cycles between water and the soda,
right?
Well, yeah, because it's carbonated water, and so they don't actually have soda in the machines. It's a syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening is it's mixing the syrup and the soda water because
at the same time.
Yeah, because it's more cost effective and it takes up less space than having like big kegs of pre-mixed pop. So yeah, it's like actually. So what you're drinking is mixed soda or it's syrup.
So if you want soda, go to like the store or something.
Yeah, and so it's gnarly. I've actually changed a few of those before. I've worked fast food and at restaurants. It's weird when you get like the syrup on your hand and you taste it. It's just like concentrated Coke, cola.
You have to be careful with that one.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Okay, I need to actually give my opinion on Coke and Pepsi first before we
right.
go on. It's going to be like super underwhelming.
Okay.
It is Pepsi. It is definitely Pepsi.
All right.
Like simply because similar to Aaron, it's what like was around the house when I grew up, and that fucking ball thing.
Yeah.
That ball thing is like, I don't know where it went. I don't know where we got it from, and I don't know where it went. They just appear and then they vanish.
Oh, those were everywhere. I think that was just like
they were a popular dog chew toy too, man.
Yeah, I think at like one point in history that was just like the toy. You know how we have like Power Rangers and Street Sharks, and there was a point where it's like ball.
Ball.
Hey kids, do you like round rubber things? Well, get your hands on new ball.
Everyone
check
loves
it out today.
Everyone loves a ball.
Everyone loves balls.
Want to play catch with your dad?
Don't have a dad? Play catch with a wall. Get your hands on ball.
Hey, there it is.
We should start writing jingles, man.
That would be cool
for fake products.
All right, so let's
everyone likes getting their hands on balls.
God.
Oh,
Endless hours of fun with your favorite ball.
let's do one more, Will. Let's do
Okay.
one more before we head into our favorite fictional character.
Okay, so we did Pepsi and Coke. We did
Yeah.
7-Up and Sprite.
Okay.
Which I'm more of a 7-Up person. I personally, I get more of like more of the actual taste in 7-Up than Sprite.
And
just in
it
general.
mixes so well with booze.
Oh my god, I know. So I guess we can take the final carbonated thing off this list: Monster and Rockstar.
Oh,
Ooh.
I haven't had either. Okay, sorry. I have
Kevin,
had. I'm sorry, man, but I've had a Monster and I've had a Rockstar, but I never finished them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I'll take like a few.
I don't blame you.
I'll take like a few sips and I'll keep them for like an hour, and then they just sit there, and I just don't.
Yeah, then it gets all warm and starts to lose its carbonation.
But
which is gross.
I don't remember what they taste like. I just don't. I try, but I just don't remember.
They taste like bad decisions.
That's probably the best answer I've heard.
Like if you were to take like a bad decision and then just marinate it in like blueberries and sadness, that's what it tastes like.
Calling you out, Ross.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you drink.
It's so bad for you. It is bad. So bad.
It is
for
awful.
You.
It is completely awful. It doesn't stop me though when I need like energy in the immediate.
Well, there's other things you can have that will give you energy, you know,
almost
like anything else. And cocaine. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. At this point, the amount of Monsters and Rockstars that people drink, it'd probably be healthier for you if you did take a snort of cocaine.
I feel like it would.
We do not condone cocaine use.
No, we do not condone drug use, but, you know, these days, like, you know, you can't really condone anything.
No.
Well,
in the whole zeitgeist of things.
Exactly. Okay, so
I've had Monster.
You've had Monster?
When I've partaken in that horrible juice.
Ugh.
The nectar of sin.
The nectar of sin.
I've had Rockstar, but usually Monster, because there's like a couple flavors that I've had that I'm like, oh, this isn't the worst thing that I could put in my mouth at this, you know, maybe I'll. Oh, and then I finish one and immediately regret it as my whole body starts vibrating.
There's a lot of worse things you can have in your mouth.
Oh, there's so many worse things I can be putting in my mouth. But.
Exactly. So many bad things.
Very true.
All right, so what's your decision? Like mine is I don't remember the taste of them, so I can't really have a choice between the two.
I'm with Monster personally.
Monster?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have more, I guess, like more flavors that I've seen that I like.
Yeah.
When I do go for one of them, they have one, and this is weird to me. They have 3 actually. It's just coffee.
Wait.
Like it's not carbonated.
I've seen
which
that.
I'm sure was your first question, Kevin.
No, carbonated
dick.
coffee. I've seen carbonated coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't actually.
Oh no!
I need to.
Well, I like when they do like the bottled Starbucks drinks. Like that's cool. I'll get like a frappuccino every now.
Oh yeah, that's I actually cannot do that at all. It does not agree with me.
What?
Yeah.
Starbucks?
The bottled Starbucks.
The bottled. Yeah.
I'm having a Starbucks. I'm having a Starbucks drink right now.
They don't agree with anyone. Like when you buy those, you strictly sign a contract getting the runs.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm having a Starbucks drink right now, but it's not one that's on the menu though.
I choose neither. Don't put that shit in your body. If you are living a life where you have to drink fucking jet fuel for humans, reevaluate. That's my.
I've been
thought.
reevaluating for years.
Yeah, just make an espresso.
Well, there is an energy drink out there called NOS.
Oh, I've had NOS. Yeah, that stuff again is
like nitrous oxide. That's
yeah.
NOS.
I remember drinking that as a kid, and just being like, "This is amazing."
Here's a story about NOS. It's not really all that exciting, but when I was in Toronto, I was working for
Way to sell it.
I know. I was working for Naked News in Toronto.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a plug for Naked News. Yeah, I used to work in the porno industry. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, we still need that one. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna have a Pepsi.
Are you gonna have Pepsi?
I don't have a Pepsi.
Yeah, I used to work for the adult entertainment industry, but again, that's a whole other podcast, and we'll talk about that later. But we were going to some festival in Toronto Island. I forget what it was called. There you go.
Rip it and rip it.
The smooth, refreshing taste of Pepsi.
Not sponsored, but we wish it was.
Come on, PepsiCo.
But we wish it was. We were going to if anybody listens from PepsiCo. But we were going to some festival or something like that on Toronto Island. And the whole thing was sponsored
I've heard of that one.
By NOS. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, I've heard of some festival.
Some festival.
Some festival. Oh, it's my favorite festival to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Go over here.
But it was covered with NOS because it was completely sponsored by it. Like all the boats, like you had to go over to Toronto Island on a boat, right? So the entire boat was sponsored by NOS.
Nice.
There were coolers.
Please tell me it was just covered in decals of
It
NOS.
was. Yeah. It totally was. There were coolers and barrels and just everything with NOS in it.
I like their branding. I'm not gonna lie. Like I like the look of NOS. I remember when they were coming in the plastic bottles that looked like the actual NOS tanks.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Is like, yeah, you've got that is basically it's a nitrous oxide company. So it's like make your car go fast, make your heart go fast,
make you die.
Yeah. So
Make you die.
Yeah.
I thought NOS was like that was pretty cool. It was like that was the thing was like it's an energy drink and I like their whole gimmick.
It was all right.
I think a safe, like general life thing. Avoid energy drinks as much as you can.
Yes.
Please don't drink energy drinks.
So bad for you.
Believe it or not, Red Bull doesn't give you actual wings.
No, it gives you heart palpitations. Red Bull doesn't give you wings; it gives you heart palpitations.
Red Bull is for people in college who mix it with vodka and then wind up waking out
in the hospital
in the quad.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our actual topic of the podcast now.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Fictional characters. Your favorite fictional characters. Now, what's really cool is that earlier this week, before we taped this, I put on Facebook a shout out.
Oh, that's right.
I put on Facebook.
Yes, I saw that.
And we actually have responses back.
Whoa, dude!
I know.
Community interaction at its finest.
Now, we'll get to them later. But I'm not going to say anybody's. Okay, why? Fine. You want to do it now?
You wait your damn turn, community.
Okay. Well, let's do that later. Let's just put that off for later. But let's go with Will.
Oh.
Yeah. I want to hear your favorite fictional characters.
Me too.
Now, I don't know how many you picked, but let's hear them.
Well, you told me 3, so I got 3.
Okay, 3 works.
So are we going like a 1-1-1 thing, or are we going like 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3?
You can well all of yours at one point. You can just name them all down the road. It doesn't have to.
Yeah, we're not rating them.
We're not rating them.
They're all equal. Equal love? Okay.
They're all equal love.
All right. I appreciate that because my choosing process was extraordinarily difficult.
All equal love.
Okay, well, I mean, I actually did put a lot of thought into this.
Mm-hmm.
Probably too much.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. I'm right there with you.
So one of the characters I actually chose was Ash from Pokemon.
Nice.
Specifically, generations 1 through 4 Pokemon.
Okay. Well,
so
that's a character I've heard of.
Yeah, a lot of people have heard of Ash Ketchum because he's got to catch them all.
You got to catch them all.
That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm huge into Pokemon. I've seen like Indigo League, the Orange Islands, Johto Journeys, and like the Hoenn Adventures and the Diamond Pearl. Like, I've seen all of that. And then once it hit to like Pokemon Black and White, it kind of fell a little bit.
Okay.
As it happens.
Yeah.
As it happens.
Yeah. These things happen.
As it does, yeah.
So from Generation 1 in Pokemon, he was very like it was all new to him. He didn't know what was going on, and you can see that he was learning along the way. And as like each other generation came out, you can see that he was taking his past experiences in the previous sort of region he was in, with the typings and the move sets and whatnot of Pokemon, and he was able to apply that knowledge into that generation.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
you want to see that,
all the way. Yeah, that went all the way up to Generation 4, where I think a lot of people can agree with me. Gen 4 was one of his best parties that he's ever had in the Pokemon League. Gen 5 happened and like he got hit in the head or whatever. Maybe he flew too high when he was going to Unova. I don't know, but he forgot everything.
Oh God.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it was basically like a Gen 1 thing all over again.
What?
This kid has had. Oh my God! This kid has had the hardest life out of any cat. It's just like at a young age, some old professor's like, "Here you go, kid. Take this monster. Now run away from home.
Take this electric mouse. Go take over the world.
Go on, kid. Get out of here. I gotta talk to your mom." And then like he just travels the world, and then after all that, and he learns and he loves and he experiences the fruit of life, and then he gets fucking amnesia.
Okay, this is the best part though. It's not just him; it's his Pikachu that gets amnesia too.
What?
Like, well, they'll have the same. Like he'll have like Volt Tackle, Quick Attack, Iron Tail, Electro Ball, whatever, Thunderbolt, at like way early levels. But with how I'm sure like at least 2 of us have played Pokemon games for sure.
Okay, I've played Pokemon.
Then we've all played Pokemon.
I was there at the beginning, man.
Yeah, me too. I was hustling kids in the playground, man. We used to play for pinks, right? If you played Pokemon with me in elementary school and you lost, I was taking your shit. That's how we played hardcore.
So, like with how Pokemon works, you gain levels and experience. Pikachu should be level 100 all the time, but he just gets reset back to like 5.
Wow,
that's crazy.
See, you lost me after like when I watched Pokemon like when it was on TV for like maybe the first 6 months of it, and then I stopped. So I didn't really see a lot of Pokemon. I played the first 3 games, the first 3 colors, and
those are fun.
And
those are amazing.
That's all I played. You know, I had a girlfriend at the time who was not my wife, but I had a girlfriend at the time who plays all the Pokemon. Like she's played it all. And
I can actually give you a little bit of trivia about Pokemon Yellow.
Oh,
this is a fun one for me. So with Red and Blue in the with how it all works in Generation 1, trainers, like the way their AI is, they use super effective moves before anything else. So in the Elite Four, which is like the Pokemon League, like the big final challenge you were building up to, I think it's Lorelei, the first Elite Four member. She has a Dugong that has Rest, which is a psychic move and doesn't do any damage. It just puts her Pokemon to sleep and restores all of her HP. But they could just use their moves infinitely because like there wasn't enough memory to deal with like all the stats ever like made always.
Wow.
So you could get yourself in a soft lock where you can't kill. I say kill. You can't defeat Dugong, and you can't progress. So in Pokemon Yellow,
oh my God,
they actually had to give her like special AI. Like they had to redo her whole trainer class to be a specific thing.
Wow, that's a piece of history that I had no idea.
The rich world of programming.
So what's your second one? First one was Ash Ketchum. So what's your second one?
Specifically, Ash Ketchum Gen 1 through 4.
Okay.
Just so he doesn't forget all the things. He should be like 28, but he's still 10.
I know, I like how instead of like making him like it's Ash in college, it's like no, it's Ash with brain trauma.
Basically.
Well, it's the same thing as The Simpsons, right? The Simpsons have been on for 30 years and Bart's still 10 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
He lives in perpetual hell.
And Maggie's still a baby.
Yeah, that's always interesting.
You know what I mean? So what's your
Yeah.
what's your second one?
Okay. Well, my second character is actually Naruto Uzumaki.
Ooh.
Bless you. Oh, you mean you didn't sneeze? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
it's an anime.
That's okay.
I'm bringing the weeb shit in.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
So the deal with Naruto is he had one goal, and that was to become Hokage. That was to become like basically the mayor of his village and do all the cool things. But he had one of basically a demon locked inside of him.
Oh yeah.
That like he was forced into. He couldn't. Well, he was a baby. Like he was born. Here's a demon inside of you.
Yeah.
Have a nice life.
We gotta put this demon in this baby. I'm sorry.
Oh god. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
everyone in
anyway.
the village knew this, and
Anyway,
they shunned him. They pushed him away. So the kid had nothing.
Which is the most ridiculous thing because that whole process like saved them, right? Like they had to stick that thing in him because it was like murdering the landscape. And so they basically made this baby a martyr. And they're like, okay, well, we have to sacrifice this baby to put this demon in him so it doesn't kill everybody. And then he grows up and everybody just hates him. It's like, what the hell?
I think it's a fear thing. Like I'm pretty sure everyone in the village feared that the nine-tailed demon fox would escape and just wreak havoc using Naruto as an avatar, which sort of did happen in different parts in the series.
But again, it's just like, okay, instead of fostering this child and like, you know, giving him a positive upbringing so that doesn't happen, they just constantly emotionally abuse him.
Yep.
So it's like,
except for old man third Hokage, he was like, all right, here's money, live, have a life.
Yeah, he was good to know. That was a great show, actually. I was a big fan of
it was amazing.
Naruto for a while. A friend of mine that I went to college with actually got me into that, and we powered through a bunch of the series. It was good.
I watched the entire thing, like Naruto, and then the continuation of Shippuden.
Awesome.
Now I'm watching Naruto Generations, which is just Boruto. Because I think made by different people.
Okay.
But,
Yeah,
Wow.
well, and he got older, too, right? Like, he wasn't, he grew, which was kind of neat to see. So you got, like, adult
he went from,
Naruto.
like, an 8-year-old kid who could, clone himself.
Oh, my God. The sexy jutsu?
Yep.
I want to bring that up real quick. Is, like,
What?
the single greatest move in the history of martial arts. Or anime.
Okay. Can I just take a moment to spoil everything in that whole show?
Please do.
Yes, go for it. Spoiler alert,
So,
for anybody out
huge
there.
spoiler alert. This is just like one portion of the final battle in Naruto Shippuden. So, Sasuke, I'm such a fucking weeb.
You just have to go that extra mile.
Yeah.
You're like a guy I knew who had to consistently pronounce Perrier as Perrier. And it just made him sound like the biggest jackass because we'd go out and he'd just talk like a normal white guy, but then just be like, "Oh yeah, I'll just have Perrier," and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna kill you." But that's okay. I get it. It's a respect for the thing. I understand.
Part of it is actually just to be annoying, so
Okay, that's what I
I'm
figured.
glad it's working. So Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, they were fighting like the big baddie. The big, big scary dude. So
Ooh.
I am, to this day, I applaud the writers for this. What Naruto did was he did, the shadow clone jutsu, so there's a bunch of him.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
And then and then he did the sexy jutsu. However, he gender bent it. Because the big final opponent was a woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God! So he did like a sexy jutsu himself.
It was a reverse harem jutsu, I think it was called.
Oh my God!
And it worked.
So was it just like 1,000?
Just a bunch of like
dudes?
hot dudes. And, like. So
Oh,
Sasuke, Sakura, and I think Kakashi was even there. They were all just watching, all wide-eyed, like, wait, that worked?
oh my God!
This was the first hit they were able to land on this chick.
That's amazing. Kakashi was the dude. He had like the silver spiky hair in the one eye.
Yeah.
He had like a Sharingan or whatever, but he always wore his bandana over. Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was super. He was probably my.
He
favorite
had an
character
amazing arc throughout the whole series.
I really liked him.
It was,
and he was always pretty nice to. He was always pretty nice to Naruto too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was a pretty chill instructor until he did the secret hidden leaf jutsu.
Oh God, yeah,
like that finger of death or whatever.
Yeah, they actually do that in Japan.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing. I forget what it's called. There's
a
name.
Finger of death?
Yeah, it's like school
That's
children.
That's not actually what it's called, but
do it to each other, and it's like a form of endearment or something. But it's like you know how you screw around on the playground and like you give each other wet willies and stuff.
Okay.
Well, this is like a Japanese version of like the wet willy, where like you sneak up behind your buddy and you just give him a finger up the butt. Yeah, you just come up behind him and then you put both your hands together in like a double finger gun and then interlock your fingers and then just like sneak up behind your buddy and like just go right up between the crack. Yeah. I've seen a statue. There's a statue of it somewhere.
Oh my God!
A statue of it?
Yeah, it's a cultural thing and it's hilarious. And I did it to my buddy one time and he was super pissed. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. He was very upset, but I thought it was the funniest shit in the world because you don't expect it, and that is. It just goes to show you how different cultures are, right? Like over there.
Well, yeah, North American culture compared to Japanese culture, right there. That is like a huge difference.
Well, I mean, technically, that's 100% sexual harassment, but
yes,
110%.
Yeah, but like,
easy.
So don't do that to anyone.
Yeah, don't go and doing that. I think that was a thing that faded away in Japan.
Yeah, but
people started to realize how fucked it was.
Oh my God, that's not nearly as fucked as what kids in were doing. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but Google seagulling.
Oh no. God.
Oh no.
Google that later. That's a fun one.
Yeah. Please do. Okay, so your first one was Ash Ketchum, generations 1 to 4. Got to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was
Naruto
Uzumaki.
Okay, and what's your third one?
Well, I just because I kind of interrupted him. Final thoughts on Naruto.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So he did have that full arc, and they brought back that fucking sexy jitsu joke. After so long of never hearing from it, the writers are like, "Hey, remember this?"
I loved that. It was my favorite.
Let's do it again against the super god that we have to kill.
But that's some amazing fan service, though.
Oh, it is.
You gotta give it to them. Like, especially like you said, if it hadn't been around for a while, and then they pulled that one out, awesome.
Yeah. Also, they were like 16 when they killed a god. So let's really think about
as you are normally.
Yeah, well, I mean when it's Pokemon games, you're 10 and you catch God in a ball. So
that's right.
Well, like literally every Japanese anime is like all the characters are like 14.
Yeah.
And that's like, yeah, it's always so funny. You see, like, looks like a fully grown dude, but he's like, no, I'm in high school.
Yeah, it's like the super, like, ultra bodybuilder. It's like, I'm just your average high school student.
Oh, yeah. You want to see something like it? Watch Baki the Grappler.
Oh, Christ.
Amazing, amazing show. It's so unnecessary and just over the top. But yeah, that's one of the characters. Baki is in, like, high school. And he's just, like... makes Schwarzenegger look like a little bitch. He's just like nothing but muscle and beef, and it's so funny.
Oh my God!
Jesus.
Okay, so what's your third one?
So, I mentioned this before the podcast that this was the roadblock for me. Like this one, I had to really, really think about.
Okay.
And I ended up deciding against the one I mentioned to you guys, which was Danny Sexbang from the wonderful comedy band Ninja Sex Party.
That is awesome. The best. That is the best name I've ever heard. Danny Sexbang.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this.
That's wow.
Like a lot of his music, obviously ridiculous. He has 3 cover albums, which are really, really well done.
I'm gonna have to look into this because this sounds amazing.
Is it like
Oh yeah.
Danny Sexbang sings Frank Sinatra? Is that it's like,
Well, first off, the cover albums are called Under the Covers.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
For Ninja Sex Party. And like basically Danny's a Jew. He is actually Jewish. It's a Jewish man and his best murderous friend Ninja Brian, and they just sing about dicks and dinosaurs in space.
Awesome.
As one does. As one does. Yeah.
It's 2020. It's a bold new world. You know, you got.
That's right.
Oh, that was like 2013.
What about they sing about dicks and dinosaurs in space? What about dinosaur dicks in space?
I think you're onto something.
You might be onto something there. We might be able to dig into the lore of this.
Gotta call him up. Call up Sexbang.
Hey, Dan Avedon, look, I need to know.
Yeah. These dinosaurs in space, what are their dicks like?
So, I decided against choosing Danny Sexbang as one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. And instead, I went for Taako. That's Taako.
Okay.
Okay.
Taako.
Taako.
High elf wizard from the Dungeons and Dragons podcast, The Adventure Zone.
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You got me at Dungeons and Dragons. I have no idea who you're talking about, but I'm interested.
So a little background on The Adventure Zone, or Taz, as they call it for whatever reason.
Nice.
Not the acronym purposes at all. That would be ridiculous.
No, of course.
So it's three brothers, Griffin, Justin, and Travis McElroy, and their dad, Clint McElroy. And they're all just playing, Dungeons and Dragons with each other, like from states apart. And they made it into a podcast. So Justin, the oldest brother, he made a character named Taako.
So
he wants
good.
to be ridiculous with it.
So good.
That's why do you like him then?
Well, if I could perfectly mimic his voice, I would. I cannot, so I won't. But it's like a voice.
That's why you totally have to try.
Oh God.
Yeah. Now you have to do it.
Oh God, what even was it? It was so long ago.
Well, maybe is there a clip you can pop up here?
I can't actually pull up a clip.
Now, obviously, due to copyrights, we can't play it, but we'll put those clips on our social media, and people can have a listen when they get to this point of the podcast.
Let me pull up the Mongoose rant.
Okay.
This will all make sense in context.
Taako.
I'll pop it in the Discord. Taako. He here's the thing with Taako, right? He had like a full, absolute, complete character arc in like a shitty fucking podcast. I say shitty. It was actually amazing. It was a super well done thing that they did. There's like proper character development. You can see the changes in Taako's like attitude towards everyone else in the party and just the world around him.
Mm-hmm.
He basically went from, fuck everything to let's save this goddamn universe.
Awesome.
And there's so much about the character that is just great. Like the witty humor that Justin works in for basically anything. It is super well done. It is super I don't know how he did it, but it was fucking great.
I have to rethink my list here. You've opened my eyes to a few things that like this is. See, I like that, and I think that's one of the coolest things about the sort of new D&D culture is we're getting a lot more exposure to it, which I think is a double-edged sword because on one hand you're seeing people like this, right, where getting this creativity, and I think that's so cool too that he's playing with his dad. Like that's dope. Like I don't think I could ever.
His dad knows nothing about D&D too,
which is awesome, right? Like that's I'd never be able to get my dad to do this.
I'd never be able to get my dad to play D&D either. Like I can just try and picture him. Oh,
Same,
no.
but for totally different reasons than
Oh,
you
man.
guys.
Yeah, but I think it's
Oh,
so
man.
cool that you get to see so many creative people are given an outlet now, and you can join along with them in this thing. That's the coolest part about D&D too. Is it's so expansive, and
Oh yeah.
like I've been playing for like 5-6 years now, and like there are people who have a campaign with the same characters that's been running for over 20 years. And it's like, if if you love Lord of the Rings and there's only so many books, well, guess what? You can be that now and just play for the rest of your life.
Now it's real. Now it's a thing. You roll a dice and you do the thing.
And that's I absolutely love D&D. We need to get back into our campaign that we.
Oh my god, we do. I just wrapped up one of the chapters on on a campaign I was doing.
Nice.
And with how you mentioned D&D was so like expansive and it can kind of go like everywhere and you can be as creative as you want. I was able to like actually set where we were in the real world and work with the D&D like pre-existing rules and just apply it to different things in real life and see how it would fit together.
Awesome. Actually, that gives me a segue into something from Acquisitions Incorporated. Actually, one game that they ran, and this is the podcast that I've been watching for forever, and I'll talk about them later because I think I'm going to pick one of his characters as well. But they ended up in the real world, and they ended up at like Wizards of the Coast. Well,
wow.
What's so amazing?
Yeah, like at the Wizards of the Coast headquarters. Because what's so cool about Acquisitions Incorporated is their DM was Chris Perkins, who is a writer for D&D. Like he writes like the monster manuals and some of the story modules and books and stuff. And now their current DM, they switched to another employer, and he's the guy that writes like the rule books and stuff. And so like their dungeon masters actually work for the company that makes D&D. Like it's really cool to see that. And the guys that created Acquisitions Incorporated actually created Penny Arcade.
That's something I've heard of.
And so Penny Arcade's a series of comics, and then they created their own sort of their own convention. So it's PAX, Penny Arcade Expo, and it's actually gotten really popular in the last couple of years. Actually, since I'd say 2013, 2014, around there, it's been getting just massive traction, and I've been wanting to go fucking forever, but it's not in the cards, baby.
You'll get there.
I'm looking into Acquisitions Incorporated on the Apple Podcasts app right now, just to see if I can.
Yeah, so it started out as a podcast, and then once the Penny Arcade Expo started taking off, they moved their podcast to doing their games as live shows in front of like 2,000 people. So,
is that what all this like PAX stuff is then?
Yeah, all that PAX stuff is them. So they took their podcast. So instead of doing the podcast, they decided they were going to do a game once every Penny Arcade Expo. So once every PAX. So I think they do like two or three a year. And
okay.
Oh wow, that sounds cool.
So yeah, so like I mean, every game is it's months apart before you get to see a game. But they're like a good 3 hour. It's like a 3 hour game.
Is it a continuation of the same game, or is it a different game?
Yes. No, it's a continuation of the same characters.
Oh god, that must get so hard to remember everything.
Oh, dude, but that's what I mean. These guys are on another level, dude. Like their DM works for Wizards of the Coast. So, and then they had this guy. I think his name is the Czar of Happiness, and he was making all the models, like the terrain.
Ooh.
For them. Yeah, and so like they would come out and the stage is all decorated, and sometimes they'd come out dressed up in their characters' costumes, and then they would have like the terrain on the table under like a big blanket, and then they'd like lift the sheet up or whatever, and there'd be these massive, expansive terrain that they got to play on. Like, it was just, this is D&D played at like top tier, and it just, in my opinion, blows everybody else out of the water.
Well, when you started up like Lich Politics, which like we have to do that again.
Yeah.
Like you saw, I was there in like the full thing.
Oh hell yeah, and that's half the fun is dressing up. I love that
100%.
aspect.
And like the getting right in character.
When I
thinking
played
as the character.
when I played D&D back in, late 90s, early 2000s, we never dressed up as the characters. We tried to do voices and whatnot, but we never dressed up as characters and things.
Well, I
like
mean,
that.
that takes a lot of effort too.
But that sounds like fun though. If I started doing D&D like that, I would still be playing to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Well, then that's a perfect segue
into what you cut off there for a second.
Oh, sorry, into my list.
All right. Well, then
Excellent. Let's hear it.
Nice.
All right. So the first one I'm gonna go with, and this is the hard part too, because for my list, like I was telling Kevin, I have just way too many favorite fictional characters. Like I can't have favorite movies. I have favorite directors or like favorite themes or things because like I've never been the kind of person like that whole desert island thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, what top 5 movies would you bring on the desert island? And I'm like, I can't tell you that, man. There's like 300 that I would want to bring. I have movies
that was my issue with picking the characters. Like there's so many characters that exist that I like. I was like, oh god.
Like I had to make like a list of criteria. I had to completely remove Star Wars and like anime and video games out of my list because I was just like I can't because it's not even fair. Like for Star Wars, there's like 15 characters I'm just in love with. Like same with video games and stuff.
Stormtrooper 6,788.
Right? He's like my favorite.
He's the best.
That's my favorite too. That was my favorite.
100%. Such a good character arc.
Just off the top of my head, there was Vader, Boba, was amazing. Dirge, I freaking love Dirge. His whole arc was wild. And then expanding onto the whole LucasArts lexicon, Mad Mardigan from Willow, an amazing fucking character. But so all that aside, my favorite, one of my favorite fictional characters, because I had to pick from Acquisitions Incorporated, is going to have to be Jim Dark Magic, played by Mike Krahulik, who's one of the artists for Penny Arcade, and is literally one of the funniest, most ridiculous characters I've ever seen put to anything in my life. I've never laughed so hard watching just like 4 people at a table screw with each other on the level that they do, and it's always Mike Krahulik and Jim Dark Magic of the New Hampshire Dark Magics. His character is out of this world. So he plays a wizard. He's a human wizard, and
I already love it.
And he's just like he's got like long black hair. He's like purple clothes. He's got like 2 wands that he sort of does like the pistol shot like bang finger bang things with whenever he comes out. It's really funny.
Oh yeah.
But like
does he do prestidigitation to shoot like a little shower of sparks when he does it?
He's a showboat and a narcissist, and like and it's really interesting because like I don't think Mike is like that at all in real life. Like he seems like he's sort of kind of quiet, reserved guy, and or I could be totally wrong, but when he comes out on stage and he gets into the Jim Dark Magic persona, and it is just goddamn hilarity every time. And I mean, so he's got Omen Drawn, sort of like this is interesting too because when they set up Acquisitions Incorporated as a troupe, they did it as like it's a business. So their whole D&D thing is to go around and like acquire treasure, and so Omen Drawn is technically the CEO, and then you've got Jim Dark Magic, Viari, Binman Bronzebottom, who later sort of opted out. A bunch of other ancillary. They had Will Wheaton in there, actually.
Seriously.
Yeah, Will Wheaton was one of the recurring characters playing a highborn elf. I think Aophel his name was, and they kept calling him Al. He got so pissed. I'm blanking on the girl's name. She's she's really, really good too, actually. She's got a really fun character arc. And then they started branching out. They got the C-Team. But just an example of Jim's ridiculousness. They were tracking down a lair that had some green dragons because the green dragons had stolen eggs from a copper dragon. And in case anybody doesn't know, all metallic dragons are good, all solid color dragons are bad. So they're going to this castle that's run by some dragon cultists. They're going in there to find the eggs. And so at some point they get in this big kerfuffle, and they find the eggs, and they're running from these dragons. They turn the corner, and there's a green dragon. and Binwin's there with him, and Jim took the eggs and he put them in like a portable hole, so the dragon knows that one of them has the eggs. So the DM's like, all right, like, what do you guys do? And the whole audience is like, on the edge of their seat. And so Jim just goes, I cast Minor Illusion, so it looks like Binwin is holding a clutch of eggs, and I run.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And so he does it. And then the dragon attacks Binwin, who's the dwarf, and everyone's just dying. And he looks at him on the table. He's like, what the hell? Why did you do that? And like, that's the shit that he pulls all the time. And then, like, sometimes he does amazing stuff. And it's just, he's so goddamn creative and so damn funny. And he's DM'd guest spots where it's done, like, they call them Jimterludes, where, so he'll DM a thing. And one of them was like a murder mystery night, where Jim Dark Magic was dead, and they had to figure out like who killed him and how and whatever. But he wasn't supposed to actually be dead, but it turned out he was dead, and his soul was trapped in a crystal, and just some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, and it's just because it's all ad libbed. And if I can recommend anything D&D related, please absorb all of Acquisitions Incorporated you possibly can. I will plug them till the day I die. They're the ones that got me into D&D, and they're the ones that are keeping me in it.
Let's see if we can get them attached to this. Let's see if we can, we mentioned them, so let's tag them.
Yeah.
See if they'll have a list.
Acquisition Incorporated and Adventure Zone. McElroy family.
Yeah.
Come at us, please.
We'll have to give a clip. But yeah, like, I just, honest to God, I've couldn't be like amazing stuff. Patrick Rothfuss plays VR. He's an author. I've been reading his books. I got hooked on his books. The Kingkiller Chronicles. He's hilarious. His whole shtick is that he was a rogue and then he was a bard. I think he switched up at one point. But like every time he sees a chandelier, it's just his thing.
Wow.
Jesus.
And so like they put a bunch of that stuff in there. Oh my god, they ended up getting in with some succubi. Like there's just,
as one does.
Yeah, well, you have to. Like, but
you have to.
It's just, there's so much.
That's what you do.
There's so much to their like lore and their story arc that I can't even. Like, I'm having trouble just picking one. It's almost like when I think back at all the stuff that I've seen from them, it's like a whole head of just everything is just so good. So that's my first pick. Definitely Jim Dark Magic. Oh my god, they fought Dritz Urden at one point.
Like, God.
Yeah, and the whole thing was like, so Dritz is a character by R.L. Salvatore, and writes a series of novels, and like Dritz is huge in the D&D community, like huge.
Yes,
and
I've even heard of Dritz. He was back in the D&D community when I was playing.
Oh hell yeah, like Dritz is big, and he's got this panther or whatever as like his familiar, and so they were in the Underdark, and like Dritz showed up, and so he was like under some kind of, and so they're fighting him and his panther, and like they were about to kill his panther, and they're at the table just being like, can we do this? Like, is Salvatore gonna be like, this is canon, like he's gonna be pissed. And so they were seriously debating whether or not like what their actions, the ramifications they had. And like that's what I mean about this being like top tier D&D. Like it's right in there in the art.
Wow. Holy moly. Okay.
That's amazing.
So what's your second one?
Spawn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, straight off the bat, don't even have to think about it. Ever since I was a kid, I used to sneak out of my bedroom at for 1:00 in the morning to watch the HBO series playing on Showcase. This is a deep cut for any of you Canadians out there. Yeah, that was actually because of Spawn was the first time that I ever saw the Red Shoe Diaries, so that was fun.
Oh, the Red Shoe Diaries.
Yeah.
Showcase.
Yeah, there's
29.
Another deep cut.
Yeah.
But, I used to get the comics when I was a kid. I used to watch the show. I remember I saw the movie when it came out, and absolutely I love the character. It's so badass. Like, I love anti-heroes. I think anti-heroes are some of the greatest characters ever because, sometimes they're thrust upon a situation where they don't have an option. Like, that's kind of Spawn, right? Like, he's a reluctant hero. He was backstabbed, by I think Wynn was the guy's name, the dude. So this big guy basically sold Spawn's soul to the devil, so that Spawn could run Satan's army. So, Al Simmons is his real name. He is just like a Navy SEAL, Marine, Red Beret, like one of these guys. Green Beret? I think I fucked that up. Yeah, like, he's like a military genius. Like, he's just he's in there killing, just killing. Really good at killing.
Wow, it's good. That's a good skill to have.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that skill. Yeah, and so
you gotta be killing.
So they set him up. He gets killed. His soul goes to hell, and then he becomes a hellspawn. And there's been hellspawns throughout his, like Ghost Rider. The mantle gets passed, so he becomes the next or the new, like latest incarnation. And so he's supposed to lead Hell's armies in war against Heaven. So like during the run of this whole thing, like Heaven and Hell are at war. And like Heaven has their version of Spawn too, is known as the Redeemer. And he's pretty cool as hell. But so Spawn goes to Hell, gets turned into Spawn, and Devil's like, all right, cool, you're gonna run my armies. Spawn's like, no, fuck that, I'm not doing that shit. Peace. And he just takes off, and he's like lurking the streets, trying to like regain a bit of his sanity and like what his life was, and you know, so he had a wife and a daughter, and like it's just like a torturous story, and he's just in the gutter in the streets, like basically starts killing rapists and murderers, which is awesome. And the whole time, the Devil keeps sending dudes after him to try and get him to come back and get him to do what he wants him to do. But Spawn the whole time is like, no, I'm not your pawn in this. Like, I'm my own man. And so he's using his hell-given gifts to sort of right a certain amount of wrongs, I think, in an attempt to... He even fights God at one point. Like, it gets crazy. It gets super crazy. There's a series of
games. As we do.
Yeah. And, like, just badass power.
And he's in Mortal Kombat 11.
He's in Mortal Kombat 11. Yeah, he was in... he was my favorite in Soul Calibur. You got to play him in Soul Calibur. He's been voiced by some amazing characters. Amazing actors.
All actors are just characters. Come on.
All actors are just characters, that's right. And he's supposed to be... Todd McFarlane's supposed to be doing a new movie with him, actually, which I'm pretty excited about. But I've heard some things that I'm not too pleased with. So, number one is that... apparently the movie's supposed to be sort of like Jaws, where the main character, Spawn, is sort of in the background. He's not sort of up front and featured. He's hinted at and seen in the shadows, and it's not really about him so much as it's about the actions around him. And it's going to focus more on the cops, because in the comic there were two cops in Sam and Twitch, and that's how some of the show was told through their eyes as well, where they're basically cleaning up Spawn's mess. Like, thing was, this child rapist was brutally murdered and ripped apart. What the hell's happening here? This is really fucked up shit. Oh my god! And it's like, so you're going through the cops sort of point of view, and Spawn's just going to be in the background. Which, I mean, it could be cool, but as a film, I'm not really excited about that. Like, I want to see Spawn kicking some ass.
Yeah, there has to be like a real like strategic way of doing that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing too. Like, him as a character is incredible. So like, he's fueled by necroplasm, so he can basically like shoot beams of death, like necro goo, which is kind of dope. He's got like his armor is alive, basically, like his suit or whatever that he's wearing.
That suit and that cape, right?
Yeah. So his cape is alive, and like
I'm kind of getting like a D&D.
Oh, right.
Like Ray of Sickness, but with Doctor Strange's cape in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's got such an amazing combination of these things. So like, he's got chains, and the chains are alive, so you can use the chains that are on him to, like,
so he's a chain devil.
He's a chain devil. Yeah, he's so many things. His cape can turn into an axe, which is sick. So he's got this big hell axe, and then on top of that, because he's a military professional, he's also proficient in like all kinds of weapons and explosives. So while he's using like this necro hell beast goo, he'll pull out like machine guns and rocket launchers, and it's just like the weirdest combination of shit. But it's so good.
Then I'd recommend going to see. Have you seen his gameplay clips in Mortal Kombat 11?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
they did a really good job.
He looks really good. Like, I heard from Todd McFarlane. I didn't hear from Todd McFarlane. That would be cool if I knew him.
Yeah.
But I heard, I was reading articles on from Ed Boon and all that kind of stuff. When they put Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11, Todd McFarlane said, "Go nuts."
Like, they gave him some freedom.
110% freedom. They said go crazy. I've been wanting Spawn in Mortal Kombat for years.
And they did not disappoint. I
Oh,
heard him
boy.
talking about it. He was super happy with how he was done.
And
they got the guy to what the hell's his name? He voiced him in the show. He's voiced
yep.
the game too, eh?
Yep, he voiced him in the original '90s cartoon.
I'm so bad for this. I know that. Damn it! I want to say Jack Corden, but I don't think that's his name.
No,
in the movie.
Oh, the one in the movie?
Yeah.
No. Well,
fuck, I'm so bad with names. Keith David.
Yes,
he did the show.
In the one in the cartoon, and Keith David also did Mortal Kombat 11.
Mm-hmm. So he was in the original animated series.
Michael J. White.
That's it. Michael J. White
was in.
I am an idiot.
Was in the movie.
Yeah, Michael J. White. He is awesome. And he's freaking built too.
He is now.
Well, yeah, but like he's awesome. Like he's actually like a really good martial artist too. Like I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's a legit dude. And see, that was a great cast for the movie. I thought he played an amazing Al Simmons. It was a great Spawn. And so apparently in the new film, it's Jamie Foxx, which I don't see. Also, yeah, for anybody out there, like amazing African American character. Like,
yeah. Absolutely. One of the best anti-hero.
But like I hated how the media portrayed like Black Panther as being like, oh, the first real African American comic hero and everything. I was like, God, are you kidding me? Like you've got Blade, you've got Spawn, they're like Luke Cage,
you got Black Lightning.
Black Lightning, yeah, but like man, and so I've always loved Spawn. He's just been just a straight up badass character.
We need more anti-heroes, honestly.
We definitely do.
We totally do. Okay, so we're running on an hour here. Wow, we just I know. Actually, we've gone over an hour. We started at about 8 o'clock. It's now 20 after 9. But it's okay. So your first one was
Jim Dark Magic. Spawn.
Jim Dark Magic.
Third one is gonna have to be James Bond.
Ooh, Bond.
James Bond.
Yeah,
nice choice.
But pre Daniel Craig, I hate him as Bond. I think he's a great actor, and I love his work, but he is not James Bond. Those films are not James Bond films. They are a far cry from everything that Bond was, and they're pandering garbage that is just trying to cash in on modern trends, and it's upsetting to me because me and my dad don't agree on a lot. We're pretty different people. I love him to death, but James Bond was always something that we could bond over, and he got me into that when I was a kid. We've seen every movie so many times, and then when the new ones came out, we were so excited because they were bringing it, doing it again, and it was just so bad. I mean, even with Pierce Brosnan, they started to get a little hokey towards the end. Sean Connery's run was amazing. Roger Moore's run was incredible. Love Roger Moore. And even Timothy Dalton. Like, I actually liked Timothy Dalton. Not a lot of people did. There was another guy. He was in one. I can't remember his name for the life of me.
Sean Connery?
No, not Sean Connery.
Okay.
It was His Majesty's Secret. So Sean Connery did Dr. No, was the first one. Then they did another one, and it was Majesty's Secret Service, and I can't remember the guy's name. He was in that, and then they had to let him go
was it Pierce?
No, it wasn't Pierce. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna Google it real quick. They had to let him go because he was a horrible drunk, apparently.
Timothy Dalton?
No, he was way later. He was after Moore.
No.
I have no idea. I've only ever seen a couple of the Bond movies.
Roger Moore?
No.
Well, let's look up the Bonds. Lucky thing we're on the internet, right?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. George Lazenby, that was his name.
Oh, yes, okay, I've heard of him.
Lazenby. He was in one film.
Oh, George.
Apparently he was terrible to work with. He was drunk all the time and belligerent. And so after his Majesty's Secret Service, they went back to Sean Connery, who was just wild. But I mean, that's the thing. Bond was a sign of the times. It's not a film that you can make today. and I think that them trying to do that is just wrong. Like, I think it was Rick Robert, our Broccoli's daughter, took over. And I'm gonna sound awful right now, but like, these films weren't made for women.
No,
I mean,
they weren't.
Women could enjoy them, sure, but they 100% were not made with a woman's interest in mind, and that's not right. And I agree with that. I think that's wrong. Like, you should make a movie that's, that everybody can enjoy, but at the same time, it was a topical piece. It was a time-related piece. It was written by a guy who worked for the Secret Service. It was written, like, all of James Bond is basically like exaggerated stories based on Ian Fleming's life. Like, he worked for MI6. So it was about the cars and the gadgets and the witty banter and the sexy ladies and the exotic locales. And that's what Bond was.
Well, look at some of the names of the bad guys, like Pussy Galore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that was one of the names of the bad guys for Bond. Pussy Galore. You can't.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Pussy
absolutely.
Galore.
Pussy
Yeah.
Galore.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was, she was from Octopussy.
Yep, Octopussy. That was one of the name of the Bond movies. Octopussy, Pussy
Oh
Galore.
my god!
Oh, that's not even like, there were so many, man. Like, I can't even think of half of them now. Like, every woman's name was basically like a pun on sex. And, like, he would always get the girl. But that's the thing I liked about Bond 2 was, like, there were no gratuitous sex scenes, It would be like he'd give her a kiss and the lights would go out and then it would go to the next scene. And now every movie you watch is basically a fucking softcore porn. I gotta sit through these people humping in the shower. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this.
Have you seen any series on Netflix? You have like about
No.
50% of it that is
Oh.
actually just, hi,
Oh.
I'm gay, and then another 50% that's, here's awkward teen sex.
Oh, I know. And it's like, no one, why are you making this a thing that we have to watch? Whatever happened to tact, taste, and sensibility? Bond would just be like, yes, we saved the world. Now give me a smooch there, baby. And then the lights would go, and where's the music? The new films don't have the music. Half of the shit was
Yeah.
when he'd come flying out of explosions and be like, da-na-na-na-na-na.
And now you just hear the
The standard
overuse of low tones in
Yeah. boom, boom,
in
boom,
explosions.
boom, boom, boom. And it's like, okay, thanks.
causes
yeah.
like severe ear fatigue, and then you just
Oh
want
my
to
God.
leave.
James Bond has literally turned into just Jason Bourne-esque shitfest of just explosions and hitting people. And that's the thing, like, James Bond wasn't a martial arts beat-em-up kind of guy. Like with Daniel Craig, he's running around smacking the... James Bond didn't do that. He was classy. He'd judo chop you.
He was a tactician.
Yeah, exactly. He was a gentleman.
Yeah, he would kill you in a gentlemanly kind of way.
Oh my God, the best kill, my favorite James Bond kill, he was in Egypt, and he's tracking this guy down, and he runs him on top of the building, and he's got him on the ropes basically, and they're fighting, judo chopping each other, and finally the guy's on the edge and to fall, and he reaches out and grabs Bond by the tie, and he's basically hanging off this building, and the only thing keeping him balanced is holding onto Bond's tie. So Bond's just like, "Where's Fakesh?" The guy, please, I don't want to die. And he's like, "Where's Fakesh?" And he's asking him like where this guy is. He's looking at the guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, he's at the pyramids." And then Bond just smacks the tie out of his hand, and the guy falls to his death. And then Bond just just tightens his tie up a little bit, looks down, and says like a witty one-liner, I don't know, like "have a nice" something, and then just walks away. And, like, that's James Bond. Like, that's hilarious. That's ridiculous, over-the-top nonsense, and that's what made those movies good.
That's what I want to see more of in movies, but
Yes.
people think it's
Agreed.
too cheesy and too corny and too
Agreed.
too silly even.
But that's what
Agreed.
it was. Bond was campy. It was the 1960s when that shit really took off, and that was the whole point, was it was supposed to be campy. And then you went into the 70s and the 80s, and it was still campy, but, like, awesome camp. Like, you had Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die was amazing. Most incredibly crafted boat chases I've ever seen. And they did subtle little jokes too. Like there was like race humor. There was a lot of things that they tackled, but they tackled them in such a classy way because it was James Bond and it was classy. It needed to be that. You can't have James Bond today. They should have just let him die.
Yeah.
Let it fizzle
There
out
are
with
a lot
Pierce
of
Brosnan.
things that honestly the world should just let rest.
Yes, absolutely.
It's okay to let a thing die.
Okay. So my three aren't as thought out as yours guys are. Only reason is because
Doesn't make them any less valid, Kevin.
well, thank you, appreciated. But mine aren't as thought out only because I'm a nerd in a weird kind of way. I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch anime.
You don't drink a lot of pop or anything.
I don't drink a lot of pop. I don't I'm my own internal kind of nerd. So my first one is surprise, Lion-O from the Thundercats.
Hey, there it is.
You know what I mean? The reason why mine's Lion-O from the Thundercats is because in the 80s when I was a kid, that was the first character on TV that had ginger hair, just like me. Right? So I kind of, that I knew of, right? So when I was a kid, I would watch Thundercats. No one else had ginger hair, but then Lion-O had ginger hair. And I was like, oh, cool. The guy looks like me and he's a hero and he wants to save the world and maybe I can do that.
That's beautiful.
I looked up to Lion-O as a kid. And so that's my first one. Again, I can't really go into too much detail because, Lion-O, Lord of the Thundercats, we talked about Lion-O in a previous episode, so we don't need to go on to that.
Go back and listen to that podcast.
That's right. Go back and listen to that one. And,
go to our back catalog.
And before I go into my second one, and because we're almost winding up here, before we go into my second one, I'm actually going to go and read off our stuff on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
if you weren't going to bring it up, I was going to remind you.
Yeah.
I actually want to hear about that.
I have it right here. Okay, so now I'm not going to name last names of these people because I don't want to, people.
No, that's good. That's smart. I like that.
Find them and whatnot. But
they know who they are. They know who they
exactly. So our first one is from Amanda, a girl. Ooh.
Lady listeners.
Yeah, I know. Our first one's from Amanda. She says that her favorite character from a book is Richard Rawl. I think that's what it is. Richard Rawl. Colin Amnell.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm probably going to butcher all these names. From a book series, I believe it's called Sword of Truth.
Okay, cool.
Sword of Truth. And her favorite television character is Usagi Yutinko. I believe that is Sailor Moon.
Nice. Oh, hey. Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. I knew that one.
That's an old school one. I like that.
She is the one named Sailor Moon.
She is.
And the next one is from Dingo.
Hey, Dingo, my man.
Dingo.
What's going on, Dingo?
From the screen is Data from the Goonies.
Nice.
Data from the Goonies. Nice. And from the page is Akira. Yeah.
Okay.
And
when Akira?
That's all he says. It's just Akira.
Just Akira? Is
just
that like
Akira?
Okay.
That's all he says. Now Blair is the third one. He says hard call either. I'm going to butcher this name. Hardcore. Hard call either Paxinarian.
Paxinarian?
Yeah. Paksenarion.
Paxinarian?
Paxinarian. I think that might be it. For just amazing writing and character growth, or Prince Kelder of Drasnia for outright cool. And Wedge Antilles deserves an honorable mention, though, as the only person with 2 Death Stars kills painted on his X-Wing.
Hell yeah, dude. Wedge.
Damn right.
Deep cut with that one. I like that.
Deep cut.
Here you go, Blair.
David, he actually is saying one of my person on my list is Q from Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh.
Yeah, he's actually on my list, too.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Q is great.
He said, Q from Star Trek TNG, wouldn't you be an asshole if you were in if you were immortal, not spoiled?
Oh, 100%.
Why doesn't he use his powers for good? That's
Yeah.
what he says.
Yeah, he was an omnipotent prick.
Omnipotent prick. He totally is. Robert says, brothers Uzra and Mishra from the Antiquities War.
Oh, okay. I have no idea what that is.
I have no idea.
I've never heard of that. I'm going to look into that right now.
It sounds, at first glance, I'm picturing people fighting over like really old cabinets, but I guarantee that's not what it is.
And our last one, Jody, another female.
I think I think it's a magic thing.
It might be.
Oh, cool. Okay. Jody, what's going on?
Jody says Harry Dresden or Vlad Tealtos from books. I don't know exactly where they're from, because she doesn't actually list it there. But yeah, those are our listener interactions
Vlad
of the week.
I know that name.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where Vlad Taltos is from.
So as David said, Q is the second one on my list. I've always liked Q.
Yeah, he's some of the best episodes, actually.
Q debuted back in 1987.
Wow.
1987 in Star Trek: The Next Generation. And he's always been my favorite Star Trek character. Always, because I've always wanted to be that kind of a,
have that kind of power. Yeah.
Have that kind of power, go and do as I wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the second one on my list.
I think those episodes were great because it showcased some of the like really creative writing that TNG had, and I loved it because like what was the first one was Picard had to make a case for why humanity deserved to live.
Oh yeah,
and like I love that. Like they went in like that's some feel good shit right there, right? Like like when you think about it, as a species, we're kind of shitty, but to see stuff like that, where it's like,
understatement.
Yeah, like there's some good out there, and like we're good people, and I think like if you're ever going to show an alien some pop culture stuff, I think that would be a good one to sneak in there, just to be like, hey, we're not all bad. Look at this.
Totally. I love all the Q episodes.
Very good
of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I guess my third one would probably be Superman.
Nice.
Superman. I've been a big fan of the Superman series since I was a kid. A lot of my elementary school friends, well, people I went to elementary school with, I wouldn't exactly call them friends, but would say that I would always go around, pretending I was Superman when I was a little kid. I always used to do that. I used to wear a shirt underneath another shirt and then like take the shirt and like rip it open. Pretending I was Superman.
I'm sure your mother loved that. You just come home with all these ripped shirts.
Yeah.
Damn it, Kevin!
Yeah, all these button-up shirts. They just rip it open, pretend I was Superman.
Just a fortune in thread for buttons.
It was just really bad. So but
Superman is a great pick. He's a great pick.
But you see, I have a deep cut connection with Superman too, is because when I was a kid, I used to watch the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. In it all the time, right?
Yeah.
And when I grew up, I got into film and movies. I used to make movies and make film and things like that. And I got to meet Margot Kidder.
Really?
I have a picture of me with Margot Kidder, the original Lois Lane from the Christopher Reeve movies.
Awesome.
And
hell yeah.
And
I didn't know that Margot Kidder did porn.
We still need to get a whole episode on that.
Yeah,
I have so many questions.
Yeah, well, I could tell you stories that would make.
I know, and that's the podcast we need.
But
that's awesome, though.
I got a picture with me and Margot Kidder, and she told me stories about Christopher Reeve that completely changed my outlook on the whole movie. Apparently, he was a alcoholic womanizer.
Oh, I believe it. He was a handsome man.
An alcoholic womanizer, and yeah, he just wasn't a good person to hang around with, I guess. I guess that's just him back then. I'm only going by what she said, so don't be suing me or anything like that. But I'm just going by what she said. But yeah, so those are my three. Right? Lineup from Thundercats, Q, and
Karma
Superman,
like a truck. So.
Oh boy, did it ever!
Jesus,
I'm going to hell for that one. Awesome.
like a
That's a good list.
yeah, like a speeding horse. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, that's a deep.
That's
deep.
deep. Do we have time for me to read my honorable mentions? Because this was an extremely hard decision for me to make, and I had like a whole list. I'm just gonna name them. Just gonna name them. So after Spawn, I had Jason Voorhees.
Nice,
fucking amazing character. Ash Campbell. Eric Draven from The Crow. John Deckard from Blade Runner. Batman, because Batman's amazing. Fletch was a character portrayed by Chevy Chase. Absolutely. If you've never seen Fletch, watch the Fletch 1 and 2. Hilarious films. Snake Plissken, played by Kurt Russell. Oh my god, I can't believe it took me that long. Ellen Ripley from Alien. Incredible performance by Sigourney Weaver. Incredible strong female character that wasn't, written to be anything other than an awesome character situation. It wasn't pandering. It wasn't crap. Like, she just knocked it out of the park. The Nazgul from Lord of the Rings. They're just give me chills. Edith Johnson from Cherry 2000, played by Melanie Griffith. Awesome character. She's a tracker. It was really, really cool. If you haven't seen Cherry 2000, please watch it. It's awesome. Sarah Connor, and the Doctor.
Hey, which one though?
Tennant was my first and only love. I really did like Eccleston and Smith, and I didn't mind Capaldi at all. I thought he was. I thought they could have done something pretty cool with him, but it is what it is. But yeah, loved Tennant. The whole Doctor Who mythos. Actually, I went back and watched some of the ones as well. The guy with the scarf.
Oh my God, which one was that? Was that fourth?
I think it was fourth or fifth.
Why does his name escape me right now?
Yeah, the curly-haired guy.
The fifth Doctor, the one with the scarf.
Yeah, I liked some of his stuff. He was great because he was really, really quirky, and I think that's a quality.
No, fifth had celery.
Okay, so then
it was definitely fourth.
Yeah,
fourth? Yeah, probably fourth.
That could be a whole other podcast. So we're going to do a podcast on Doctor Who.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, he was quirky and sort of out there, and I think that's a quality that the Doctor should always have because he's
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker, that's it.
Tom Baker.
The Doctor is a person out of time and space, so they should be sort of and goofy, and so I liked him for that. I thought he did that well. So that was my big sort of honorable mentions list that I had to try and pick from. Well,
I'm going to segue from the Doctor into the end of the show.
Ooh.
We're going to segue from the Doctor right into the end of the show. That was really good. That was a really good conversation.
I loved it.
That was really good.
It was a roller coaster of emotion.
It really was. It really, really was. Now, everyone, thanks for listening to There's Nobody Here Named Josh podcast.
Thank you for commenting on their stuff, too.
Yeah, please do that.
Oh, 100%.
I'm Kevin, alongside Will.
What it do?
And Aaron.
Hi.
Now, There's Nobody Here Named Josh podcast is produced by Adam Upper, a.k.a. Stump Chunkman. And our logo, I know, weird name, Stump Chunkman.
It's one of my favorites, I'm not going to lie.
And our logo was created by the amazing Aaron Alessandrini. Right there. Same guy talking. Here he is. You can follow what we're doing on our social media at There's No Josh on Instagram and Twitter, and There's Nobody Here Named Josh podcast on Facebook, even on YouTube at There Is No Josh. And you can find this podcast wherever you find your podcasts. Okay. So, and please.
We're in there.
We're there. Start listening. Slam that like button on our YouTube and our Twitter and Instagram and the whole 9 yards. I'm always available to talk to. If you want to message me, if you want to talk to me, I'm always available to talk to on our Facebook Messenger. So you could just message me up and we'll have a chat about different things. Again,
suggest topics.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always
100%. If you have a topic you want us to talk about, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Again, There's Nobody Here Named Josh podcast, the podcast where there's nobody here named Josh.
The final episode, there might be a Josh. But if that ever happens, if there's ever a Josh, we're never gonna make another episode.
We need to bring a Josh in.
Well, I hate to tell you, but as I said on the first episode, if there's ever a Josh here, they can't be going by the name Josh. They have to pick a name.
From the hat.
We have to pick a name of the hat of no Josh names.
Just nameless guest.
That's right. It'll just be.
I'll get like a fez and get like a bunch of like slits of paper in there.
It could be any name, anywhere.
Lots of weird old English names.
It could be like I could pick a name out, and you could be called Tree.
Joffrenstein.
That could be
Jefferson.
Anything. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. There's nobody here named Josh. I'll see you later.
Take care.